Hi, Tubies. This is Amber. Um, I am going to talk about something I've been meaning to talk about, make a video about for a very long time, and that's about being out of the broom closet and about my own experiences. I consider myself out of the broom closet, and I came out of the broom closet pretty early on when I started my path. This was when I was like 15 or 16. So this was back in like 1999, 2000. So it's been about 16 years. And for me, it was no big deal. I already hung out with weirdos. I hung out with people like my friends when I was in high school and I came out. I didn't really go up to them and say, hey, I'm a witch. Hey, I'm pagan. Or hey, I'm Wiccan. I just started wearing a pentacle. I had a pentagram ring. I use the term pentacle and pentagram interchangeably because I think of them as interchangeable words. Some people disagree, but I'm just letting you know. I interchange them. So I had a a pentagram ring that I wore, and then later I got a pentacle necklace. And if anyone asked what it meant, I would tell them, and it was no big deal. My friends didn't mind. Whatever, they were fine with it. As the years went by, my family knew, my mother, my dad, my sister. I mean, they found out early on as well. They weren't really. My father was pretty supportive. I mean, he bought me books about various subjects. He bought me some of my first witch books. He bought me all my Silver Ravenwolf books I own. Well, except for one. The rest of them he bought me. So, I mean, I would say that's pretty damn supportive. So it was no big deal when I was a teenager. And it was no big deal as I turned into a woman in her 20s. It was no big deal. Simply because I had a lot of the same friends, or the topic of religion didn't come up. And when it did come up, no one really cared, because I generally avoided people who weren't like myself, which is what a lot of teenagers do. And as you get older, I mean, I wasn't a partier, so it's not like I met a lot of people who weren't like myself through partying, so it was no big deal. The only time it really started to become a little awkward and was when I started working outside of the home. Up until I was like 25, I worked from home. And then when I was around 26, I started working outside of the home. I started working in the real world. And that's when I realized that I started feeling like I was in the broom closet again. And it wasn't that I wasn't open about my religion. I wasn't open about my spirituality. It was just I was around new people that didn't know me. And at the time, it would take me a while to get to know people. I was a little shy. And I've worked to overcome that, because anyone that knows me now knows I don't shut up. But, I got to know people that were nothing like me in the work world. But at work, you're working. You didn't have time to talk about religion. And for the most part, I didn't talk about it because, well, these people weren't like me. They were just my coworkers. And frankly, I didn't feel like defending myself, because even though my friends were really good in high school, there were those few people, who weren't my friends. They gave me a hard time, and I just didn't feel like having to have those battles with people, those people looking at you and be like, oh, you're a Satan worshiper. And you know what? Even if I was a Satan worshiper, it wouldn't freaking matter. But anyways, just saying. But when I first started working in the workforce, I was just taking care of myself, taking care of my cats. So even though I didn't talk about my religion, I would still wear my pentacle. I I wouldn't like openly wear it. I would kind of wear it under my shirt, but it would fall out of my shirt so people would see it, and no one really said anything. And most people were fine with it. Though I did have one coworker at my first like real job who did ask, and she was very young, because as an adult you have adults tell you don't talk religion or politics, and that was the general rule. Some people say that you should talk religion and politics because, you don't want those things not talked about, but whatever. That's not the point of this video. I did have one coworker, she was much younger than me, ask me about religion. I don't know how it came up, and I told her that I was pagan, because I didn't talk about it, but if someone was going to ask me straight up about what I believed, I wasn't going to lie to them. I wasn't going to pretend to be something I wasn't. Beforehand, I wasn't pretending to be Christian. I just kind of avoided everything. And, they all knew I was a little hippy-dippy, a little strange, a little superstitious here and there, whatever. So I didn't think that when it would come up, it would be that bad. But with her, I think it freaked her out pretty bad. And the more I tried to make it better, I think I just freaked her out more. And all I was explaining was like the pagan being used as an umbrella term, for anybody who is not Christian. And I just think that concept just blew her mind a little bit. But we got over it because we worked in very close quarters. And she realized the next day, and actually the next 15 minutes after we had that conversation, I was still me. I was still acting the same, and I wasn't letting it get in my way. And the next day I came in and treated her and acted the way I always did. I was still me. And then she was okay with it. We never really talked about religion again, but that was fine. Now, once I had children and I had to work with people, I found I did become more and more in the closet, even though I still considered myself out of the closet, because everyone I loved and cared about knew I was out of the closet. It's just those new people, because I don't think coming out of the broom closet is like a one-time thing. Unless you don't plan to meet anybody new, you're always going to meet someone new, so you're always going to be coming out of the broom closet. And it's not like the first time you meet somebody, you go up to them and say, "Hi, I'm a witch, how's it going?" That's ridiculous. No one introduces themselves like that to a perfect stranger they're working with. And if you do, I'm sorry, you're stupid. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but really, that's the best way to freak someone out, unless that's what you're going for. Anyways, but as I got older and my paycheck became more important, I did feel like I became more in the closet and the work environment, because while before I would wear my pentacle to work, when I changed jobs, I stopped. The one place I worked at was actually a Christian organization, so everybody there talked about religion. We had Catholics, we had like the more modern Christians, we had everyone in between, and they just talked about it willy-nilly. And I didn't really say much. When they would say something that I agreed with that was kind of vague and spiritual, I might put in 2 cents, but I never talked about what I believed, because I didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable as well, because it was a work environment. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I want people to, I want us to get along, and it's not a big deal. They can believe what they want to believe. I can believe what I want to believe. As long as we're not hurting each other, that's all that matters, So when I worked at the Christian establishment, I never had anyone ask me about my religion. And though I did eventually start wearing my pentacle, but I still had no one ask me. At my current job I have, I just didn't wear my pentacle at all. I mean, I've been working there for like 2.5 years, and only within the last 2 weeks have I started wearing my pentacle again, because I just couldn't handle it. I felt like I was lying, and I kept seeing all of my coworkers wearing necklaces, and I'm pretty sure our dress code says it's okay to wear a necklace as long as it's not excessively long or distracting, or as long as, mine, this is what I wear. I wear my pentacle. It's not that long. It's fairly short. It's not distracting. It doesn't get in the way. and I'm still really nervous about it. I haven't had anybody say anything, but I have worked there for a while. But I got to a point where it's like a lot of my coworkers were openly religious. My bosses are open about their religion. I don't know how, they're not extremely open, but like the people who have worked there longer know, I mean, my bosses are Mormon and my boss is a bishop. So, I mean, they have a picture of Jesus in their office. And our establishment is not a Christian based establishment, so if my coworkers can wear necklaces and they can have a picture of Jesus in their office, I can wear my pentacle. That's how I tell myself this, even if it does offend somebody, because I'm not trying to. But I still feel nervous, because I've only came out of the broom closet to like two of my coworkers, like physically came out to them, like actually told them, yeah, I'm pagan. The one, she was very Christian. She very, very nice girl. And she tried very hard to be understanding. And I could tell she was the type of Christian who really wanted to be accepting and understanding, though she was still young, and she did the whole, well, what if you're wrong? And that response, like the response everyone wants to say is like, well, what if you were wrong? But it's not about right and it's not about wrong. It's not a pissing contest. It's not about that. So my response was like, I'm okay with that. You know, some people might find that a terrifying answer, but I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't believe her religion, and I don't, it would be, it's just as asinine. It would be just as asinine for me to ask her what if she was wrong, because she'd be like, I know I'm not. Maybe she wouldn't say that. I don't know. But anyways, so, and even then it went over well. There was a little bit of awkwardness for like a day or two, and then we were fine. We went back to being who we were. On a more recent note, I did come out of the closet to another coworker, but she is like the first coworker that I've ever worked with who is very much like myself. And so it's just one of those like kindred spirits. So it just was like a natural thing. Yeah. So coming out of the broom closet has been a continuous act as I've gotten older. And in some ways it's gotten more difficult simply because I feel like I have more to lay on the line. But, I'm not going to pretend to not be something that I am. And if someone's going to ask me, I will tell them. I completely disregarded the one job I had, though. The one job I had was very interesting. It was a completely different type of environment from my other jobs. And I actually was approached by one of my coworkers because at the time, I couldn't wear necklaces there, but I could wear post earrings. And I had little sterling silver scarabs with like a piece of amber in them for post earrings, which I need to fix them. They're really awesome. Anyways, and he had seen them and he made some comment about them. And we got talking and I found out like his wife was Wiccan. So that was interesting, but he was a much older gentleman, While all the other places I worked with, most of the employees were younger than me, or even a few were much older than me, and many of them were like much younger than me. There was like just a few my own age. But as a general rule, my coming out of the broom closet experience has been really good. I've only really freaked out one person. And even then, I didn't let it maintain like that. I don't think I lost any friends or anybody. And if I had, I don't even realize it. If I have lost a friendship or someone who used to consider me a friend no longer considers me a friend because of finding out my views, or my spiritual beliefs and whatever, I didn't know, then obviously I didn't consider them a friend, which is horrible, but it is what it is. But I guess what it really comes down to is coming out of the broom closet is a continuous thing. And as you get older, it changes. Because I know when I came out of the broom closet as a teenager, I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought of me. I didn't care whether I lost friends or not. I was a teenager. I was like 15, 16. I didn't give a damn. But as an adult, you care more, And when you become a parent, you really care because you don't know how these people are going to treat your kids. You don't know how it might affect your job. That was that's been the biggest issue with this particular job. And I don't even know why. I don't even know why I'm so concerned. Because I know, I've been there long enough. I do my job. I think I do pretty well. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I do the best I can, But there's always that fear, that a client's going to come in. They're going to see your pinnacle. They're going to go talk to the boss. And then the boss, that's the thing that goes through my head. What if a client comes in, they see my pinnacle, they think I'm going to kill their children or something, and then they're going to go talk to my boss, and then my boss is going to have to talk to me. And I'm just terrified that's going to happen, because if that happens, I'm fairly certain I'm not breaking dress code, And I think this is the conundrum with work and being in and out of the broom closet as you get older, that fear of losing your job, that fear of having, because I don't want to be a rabble rouser, but I just reached a point that I didn't like diluting myself. Because I felt like I was pretending to be something I wasn't. And while I wasn't pretending to be Christian, I envied the fact that all of my coworkers could wear jewelry. I don't know. I've never really paid attention enough to see if any of them wore crosses, but it's I should be able to wear what is me and what feels normal to me. Because this is my default necklace. My default necklace is the one I would wear all the time, and it's comforting. This is turning kind of into a personal vlog right now, because this is a new issue, because I had been so out of the broom closet, and when I'm out in the public, I don't care. I wear my pinnacle. If I see someone else wearing one, well, I've talked to strangers on the street who've had pinnacles. I've met some really amazing people just in passing, because we both have pinnacles on. It's oh my gosh, I'm not the only one here in this tiny little bunk ass town. But you still worry. I still worry that a client's going to complain, and then my boss is going to ask me to take it off. And then I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't want to be discriminated against. I don't want to be discriminated against, and I don't want to have to be that bitch who makes everyone not be allowed to wear jewelry or lose my job. And I guess that's a worst case scenario. I guess that's a thing a lot of people have a fear of. Is my spiritual belief, is being true to yourself worth losing employment? I mean, I guess a boss would say that you're defined, not defined, but what would, there's some term for it, not listening to the boss's direct orders, or I don't know. I can't, it's late, but there's some term for it, that they could fire you for. But it would really just come down to being discriminated against. And that's what I fear. That's what I fear. But I don't like feeling like I'm in the broom closet. And even if wearing my pinnacle at work makes me a little bit nervous, It also forces people to see the reality of who I am. I don't know. I guess the moral of the story is, how many times have I tried to make a conclusion here? I'm just talking in circles now. But yeah. Am I out of the broom closet? I feel like I am. But when it comes to work, in some ways I'm in the broom closet out of fear of discrimination. Yeah. I mean, with the modern technology, I have a few of my coworkers on my Facebook. While I'm not active right now, if you go through my Facebook, it's quite apparent my views and my religious choices and my spirituality. It's pretty apparent. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise to some of those people. And I try not to be obnoxious about it. I'm not, because I don't even really talk about it. Yeah. I never understood. I remember when I was younger, I never understood adults. I'm like, you're a grown adult. Why are you scared to wear your pinnacle out in the open? Why are you scared to not wear it? Why are you scared to wear it to your work? Because I'd seen so many like vlogs of adults, and I remember as a teenager, I actually met a woman. I went to like a flea market, and I met a woman, and she was like, "Oh, I see you have a pentagram on." She's like, "I have one too," and she showed me too, and I was like, "Oh wow!" I'm like, "Why don't you wear it out?" And she's like, I don't, I can't remember what she said, but it was basically a matter of fear for her job. As you get older, you have more to lose. And that's sad. That's sad. And that's not right. I mean, I wonder how many adults have not worn their religious symbols simply for fear of losing their employment. And I'm not just talking like people wearing pentagrams. I'm talking, maybe people who are Jewish or people who have various other religions that I don't even know of or have heard of and have strange symbols that they wish to wear because they have meaning to them and they make them feel whole and they give them peace. But I guess a person can only take so much, and after a point you just gotta feel like yourself. Because let me tell you, when you get 2 kids and you're working 40 hours a week, you tend to lose who you are sometimes. And even the smallest, minorest of things can make you feel more like yourself. Okay, I think I've worn myself out with words. I hope some of this made sense. I apologize if I talked in circles and made the conclusion 5 times. That's just how it is. Holy crap, this is a 23-minute long video. I may have to edit this. Okay, bye.